How you doing? I'm Alan Cruz, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the validation of video games as art. See, art is a measure of sacrifice and tears, which is what Lorne Michaels said in the movie Saturday Night. See, art is one of the most subjective things in our world today. To some, it is a toy. To others, it is a way one measures them true selves, or a commentary on the military-industrial complex. Now, art is a form of creative expression that requires imagination and skill. And if this is true, how do video games not fall into this category? As an avid gamer for over 35 years, I have experienced the entire spectrum of emotion while playing video games. I've seen beautiful landscapes. I've been captivated with some of the greatest stories ever told, and I've been moved by some of the greatest music on earth. Now, with all of the energy and time put into video games, then video games are definitely a valid form of art. The first way is visually, because video games can be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. But some may argue that just because it's beautiful doesn't make it art. But Piper CJ from The Artifice in 2016 says that the visual appeal of video games is immensely pleasurable to your average gamer, conjuring an abundance of enjoyment. And I know that when I play a game, when I enter a brand new world, I do see immense pleasure. And when I see feats being done that can't be done on this world, there definitely is an abundance of enjoyment. But one way, visually, that is amazing is through landscapes. And how, whether it is on this world or a brand new one, they can literally make you pause the game and stop and appreciate your environment around you. Like in Red Dead Redemption 2, which takes place in North America at the turn of the 19th century. Or a brand new world of Eos in Final Fantasy 15, where it is so beautiful that the game developers literally put a photographer in your party that would take pictures while you play the game. You can then upload those pictures and have a contest with other gamers online. Now, as Adol Addison would say, that the visuals of a game are what draw players to it in the first place. That they are what make the players enjoy the mechanics of the game's world and the world itself. And he said this in a Medium article in 2017. Now, isn't that what art's supposed to do? Draw you in? And if the visual styles draw you in, then it's the storytelling that keeps you there. Because the storytelling in video games is amazing. Now, Roger Ebert wouldn't have you believe so, because he wrote an article at RogerEbert.com in 2012 that one obvious difference between art and games is that you can win a game that has rules, points, objectives, and an outcome. And one might cite a game that doesn't have these, but then that wouldn't be a game. Instead, it would be a representation of a story, a novel, or a film. And these things you cannot win. You have to just experience them. But Brooks Madge would have you tell will be different. She said in a Medium article in 2018 that game writing is a type of storytelling where the reader is the player. And everything about the game, like the environment, the characters, or the gameplay itself, is an opportunity to tell you a story. Like in Skyrim, where you have an abundance of side quests that help you get through the main quest to help customize your own experience. Or in Fight Night Champion, where the very last fight is a round-to-round narrative giving you certain tasks to defeat the round so that you go through the story and how Andre Bishop becomes the world champion. But experiencing these video games or these stories are what's truly amazing about video games. And video games like Metal Gear Solid, where a Cold War event shapes the future of our world. Or in Chrono Trigger, where a Date at the Fair seems to be a nexus event across time that decides the fate of our future. Or Metal Gear Solid 4, where two warriors battle it out hand to hand in a culmination of a generational rivalry that's built not out of animosity, but out of respect. Now, some video games make it so that the storylines and the visuals are what's great. but it's the music that ties it all together. Because with music, it is what is called transcendence. Now, some opposing viewpoints for music would be that it's purely functional and only services the game itself, and it's not independent of itself. But Friar Break Britain from Word on Fire in 2019 says that there are many things to enjoy in a video game: the plot, the graphics, the characters, and the gameplay itself. But the music has a special place in the gaming experience. And as the words of Plato say, music gives wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything else. It transcends so much that in the opening ceremony of the Tokyo Olympics in 2020, India came out to Frog's theme from Chrono Trigger. Or when I say certain movies like Star Trek, Titanic, and Jurassic Park, conjures up certain different music inside of you. And of course, there's a culmination where in 2023, the Grammys actually recognized video game music as a category. And with the rise in popularity of video game music, there's a rise in orchestrated video game performances. And as Kim McGrath said in 2023 in a Wake Forest News article, that the increase in video game soundtrack sales and listeners tells the audience that they care about video game music independently of gameplay. Now, as with all the time and energy going into the creation of video games are definitely a valid form of art. So much so that the Supreme Court has ruled that video games are art. And while they're extremely beautiful, have amazing stories to be told, and some of the best music, alone, each one of these feats is amazing artwork. But video games combines them all together to create one amazing experience after another. So do yourself. Grab yourself a controller, fire up the console, and infill yourself with some art. And let it just speak to you. Thank you so much.